of this exciting and important event. My name is Chris French and I'm the Chair of Trustees at Consortium.
And I'm Paul Roberts, I'm the Chief Exec at Consortium.
And Consortium is the umbrella body for LGBT plus groups and organisations across the UK, with a diverse and intersectional membership of over 500 organisations. And we know how many have been working tirelessly with refugees for many years, including our member Rainbow Migration, who you just heard from. And as LGBT plus refugees settle in the UK, we want to make sure they have access to the support, the social connections, and the sense of community that local LGBT plus communities provide across the UK. We feel it's vital that refugees arriving in the UK are supported through properly funded community and voluntary groups. And Consortium exists to support stronger, well-resourced, resilient and sustainable LGBT plus organisations so they can provide the diverse services that these individuals want and need. We help groups do this through one-to-one support for organisations and have drawn on this expertise to become an LGBT plus specialist grant funder, having distributed over £1 million in small grants to a diverse range of organisations over the last 3 years.
Funding and support for LGBT plus organisations remains critically low. Our evidence highlights that just 0.04% of all voluntary sector funding goes to LGBT plus causes. And this has been part of our motivation to become a specialist LGBT funder ourselves. Our evidence also shows that organisations working with an intersectional focus, so those working on racial justice, disability, for example, are even less likely to be able to access funding, let alone be successful when applying for it. And 40% of our membership operate on just less than £5,000 per year. Now, running a community organisation doesn't just happen. It takes skill, it takes knowledge, expertise, and of course time. We ourselves have grand ambitions to establish an LGBT endowment fund, which will provide longer term solutions to the sustainability and the resilience for our LGBT plus communities. However, we recognise that this will take time, and it can't happen without funds now to support those most marginalised in our communities. Their capacity is limited. Our support can help them to build the skills that they need to thrive and grow. We really need to invest in the future of our LGBT plus communities. And this is why we need your donations now, so we can help to continue building that real change.
We know there are parts of our communities that face additional barriers and inequalities and who remain particularly under-resourced and under-supported. Two such parts of our communities are those working with trans and non-binary communities and those working across racial justice. We have developed community-led programmes of supporting over 50 trans-led organisations and over 30 organisations as part of our developing racial justice programme. For both areas of work, our staff capacity to support these groups doesn't reach the level required for their needs. And with evidence showing the majority of asylum seekers and refugees are likely to be impacted by racial injustice, and community evidence showing trans refugees and asylum seekers face additional barriers within our systems, it's critical that we increase support.
Our Intersections Fund, I think, is a really great example where we can get a range of support to where it is needed the most. Thanks to a generous donor, we invested £40,000, given out through over 30 grants to grassroots, lived experience-led organisations working across a range of cross-cutting LGBT plus issues. It not only gave them the vital funds to help run their group, it also provided access to our specialist community development expertise. And as a result of our funding, we've leveraged more than double that investment thanks to the additional funding bids and they've submitted, the relationships we've helped them to build, and all in part thanks to the support of our amazing team.
We want to help more organisations to flourish and grow. We want to see new and existing trans-led and black and brown-led organisations have better access to funding, access to the resources they need to get to the next level, and be on an equitable footing with the largest of the LGBT plus organisations. But we cannot do this without increasing our own specialist capacity, which is where your donation will make a real difference. The work we do behind the scenes is vital to the frontline organisations we support. What better way to articulate this than by sharing the words of an organisation who has received both funding and support from Consortium. They said, "I had to let you know how grateful we feel for the support Consortium gives us. Without hesitation, without your support, I don't think we would be where we are, and we probably wouldn't have survived as an organisation. Specialist one-to-one support for a little service like ours, with so little resources, has made a huge difference, and I won't be able to thank you enough for having this help available. Your work is amazing.
We're seeking your financial support to increase our staffing capacity to help more trans and non-binary and racial justice focused organisations to thrive and to grow. By supporting us, you're paying it forward so amazing LGBT plus organisations get the support that they need, which means they can in turn support more individuals and raise even more funds to continue this critical work. Your donations will be leveraged many times over, showing that your investment in Consortium can be a really smart and impactful way of donating. And only by continuing this work can we ensure that every LGBT plus person, including those building a new life here in the UK, can lead a happy and healthy life where they feel safe to be their authentic self by having access to the organisations they need. Thank you very much.
Thank you.